Greatness. Who comes to mind when you think of that word? Go ahead and imagine that someone right now. It can be anyone, a celebrity, a family member, a public figure, someone you admire. When the person you're thinking of walks into a room, the whole vibe changes. No one messes with this person, and this person can get whatever they want. Powerful, unstoppable, greatness. Now I want you to imagine that you're driving through a sketchy back alley somewhere, and you see that same person living on the street, wrapped up in a dirty sleeping bag, surrounded by empty liquor bottles and trash, talking to himself or herself. Greatness wasted. You try to talk some sense into them. Don't you know who you are? Why have you instead chosen this path? It's an extreme image, but it's not so far from the truth for a lot of people. I am greatness, and I've always known that. There's no one in this world who has the same experiences and wisdom that I have. I am unique. I even have favorite things about myself, and I've appreciated those things often. I became frustrated at a very young age, though, because no one else seemed to notice my greatness. I felt invisible. When I tried to demonstrate my greatness, it was called weird. I was standing out a little too much for this world to handle, and I was encouraged to quiet my greatness down and act like the rest of the flock. Can you relate? So there I am, trying to be visible, but also trying to follow the standards of the flock. The only way I knew how to do that was to be angry, have a bad attitude, be above everyone, blame the world for my problems, hate Mondays like I'm supposed to, act just like everyone else. It didn't get me any more noticed, and I'd given up my originality. Again, can you relate? But wait a minute. The person you associated with greatness a minute ago, they're not like anyone else. They didn't wait their turn. They didn't ask permission to become the powerful and admirable person they'd become. They flew the coop, and the world became a better place somehow because of it. What if we all divorced the so-called ways of the world and showed our own unique greatness without apology? If it's permission you need, I'm giving you that permission now. There are people in our lives who never seem to be happy. There's always some outer circumstance to blame for keeping them from getting what they want. Then there are people who always seem to be just fine. Their life is seemingly perfect, and they don't seem to have any problems. What did they do to deserve such a peaceful, perfect, happy life? I investigated. I wanted answers. It took years of undercover research and investigation to finally lead me to a life-changing discovery. No difference. There was no difference between the lives of the angry person and the happy person. They were both broke. They both had a million responsibilities. They both had complicated love lives. The only difference between the angry person and the happy person was their choice. You've heard the phrase fight or flight. Basically, when we're faced with conflict, we naturally respond with either fighting against the conflict or assuming defeat and running away. Come to find out, the happy people were choosing fight, and the angry people were choosing defeat. I did a little soul searching in my early 20s, and I realized I'd been choosing defeat. I was walking in defeat. Everything sucked, and there was nothing I could do about it but stomp around angrily like everybody else. Well, no more. I refused defeat forever because I am greatness. Always have been and always will be. So now what? As it turned out, choosing joy was not the same as acting joyful. Pretending to be happy and masking my actual disappointment or despair only put me in a downward spiral of bitterness and resentment. Choosing joy meant genuinely smiling back at my conflicts and adversaries while they tried to beat me down. Why would I want to smile at this? How on earth would I want to find joy during the crummiest of times? I'll tell you why. To let the world know that I am greatness and I cannot and will not be defeated. That's not an easy thing to do, though. It takes practice. It's a muscle that needs to be built up. But in the same way you need to exercise and discipline your diet to achieve your strongest physical self, you need to exercise and discipline your positive outlook in order to achieve your strongest mental and emotional health. And what happens when you combine optimal physical health with optimal mental and emotional health? Greatness. In a situation of fight or flight, I have always chosen fight. Unfortunately, I didn't have very good fighting weapons. Like anyone else, I used aggressive behavior, hurtful words, or apathetic sarcasm. It didn't seem to get me anywhere. Some would say I had a bad attitude, but most people simply didn't even notice I was there. Why? Because I acted just like everyone else, and it made me invisible. People get tired of being invisible. Why do you think so many finally reach the end of their rope and cause a big scene to get some attention, sometimes ending in tragedy? We live in a time when people feel more lonely and invisible than ever before. We desperately need a solution, and social media sure isn't getting the job done. Over the past decade, I've picked up a skill that has acted as both a fighting weapon and a means of staying visible. I call it JOYkwondo, because it truly is a martial art that uses the power of joy. With this skill under my belt, I've never felt more powerful and more visible in my life. When I'm faced in a fight situation, I fight back using my newfound weapons of confidence and a smile. Instead of getting my opponent to scream back at me, I get them to laugh. I've never seen anything work so quickly and effectively. So how does this joy make me less invisible? It's simple. People take notice when something's unusual. In any given situation, I refuse to respond the same way everyone else would. It's too predictable. Doing something completely different throws your audience off guard and draws them in. There are 3 truths I've come to learn over the past decade. Number 1, everything's fine. Number 2, nice people get stuff. And number 3, happy people can't be defeated. Now, the phrase that may come to your mind may be, nice guys finish last. You should know that there are 2 different kinds of nice. One kind comes from a place of fear and submission. The nice guys that finish last are coming from that place. They're nice because they're scared of what might happen if they're not. Just keep the peace, don't rock the boat, lay low. They finish last because they timidly step out of the way of people and opportunities that are passing them by, and they call it just being nice. I'm here to teach you about the other kind of nice, the type of nice that comes from a place of confidence and fearlessness. We all already have it in us, but we tend to only use it when we feel safe and secure in our surroundings. When we are this kind of nice, we show up and shine without apology. We know exactly who we are and we know exactly what we have to offer. The art of JOYkwondo is a practice of tapping into and using that confident form of nice for a purpose. When I practice JOYkwondo, I act with intention and I get results, wearing a smile the whole time. I want to teach you this art because I know it'll change your life forever. It's true, we all get happy when things are wonderful, but things aren't always wonderful, are they? Sometimes we feel hurt by past experiences, and we make decisions based on how those past experiences impacted our life. We can choose to let our past burden us and repeat the same mistake that led us to unhappiness, or we can choose joy. We can choose to learn from the past and create the present and future that represents the kind of life we really want to have. Many of us come from environments where being joyful is not a priority. When we lose touch with joy, though, we turn to quick fixes like alcohol, drugs, and junk food. We search for little moments of happiness from the TV or social media feed without truly experiencing it for ourselves. Joy is a light. It radiates. It starts in each of us and touches everyone we come in contact with. By expressing joy, you actually create an environment that allows yourself and everybody around you to learn and grow. When you feel joy in your own life, it's easier to take that joy with you into the rest of your world. That joy extends to your home, family, and the people you do business with, and even people you just pass by on the street. It's contagious. So the more joy you bring to the world, the more joy you'll feel as a result, which will give you more joy to bring to the world. Besides using joy as a way of standing out and choosing to be undefeated, there are a ton of other benefits to living in daily joy. Positive people develop about 50% more antibodies than average in response to vaccines. Hopefulness, optimism, and contentment are proven to reduce the risk of heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, and even the common cold. Happiness also boosts productivity. Your brain just works better when you're feeling positive. When you're walking in joy, you tend to be more creative and better at solving problems. You make better decisions, manage your time more creatively, and demonstrate better leadership skills. I can't think of a single reason to live a life without joy. It's a win-win for everybody. So if you're struggling to find your own joy, or if you're looking for a new weapon to battle against the things that bring you down and defeat you, you've come to the right place. The JOYkwondo exercises I've put on this site for you will naturally get your serotonin flowing, drop kicking you straight into that place of powerful joy. Practice these exercises every day to get maximum results and change your life.